Hello everyone and welcome to Werven's World and welcome to my Victory Conditions Guide of Endless Space 2. So this guide was required quite a bit, so basically explaining how to win at this game. So what are the victory conditions, how are they affected by game settings and alliances and so on. So I took a dive into the XML files to find out because, well, the descriptions weren't always very clear. And now I found the right files and I guess I'm ready to explain it, so let's get started. A small disclaimer for this guide though is that it's a combination of my own experience, the game's in-game text, as well as the XML files. So of course I could be slightly misinterpreting certain text or values, but also the values might actually change in games when they balance these things around. So maybe at the moment here I need to have 675k of dust in order to win. Maybe in a couple of months you'll need a different amount. Of course that doesn't really matter. This guide is really about what you need to do in order to achieve victory, and collecting the most amount of dust, well, your strategy will still be the same, whether the value changes or not. Let's have a look at all the victory conditions of the game in the most basic form, and then we go into more detail. So first of all, we have score victory. At the end of the game, in the last turn, the score is counted of all your opponents and you, and if you have the highest score, you win. Then there's the supremacy victory, which means you need to own the capital systems of your enemies and then you can win. There's the conquest system, which basically means you need to own a certain amount of the map. Then there's the science victory, which requires you to research very expensive technologies at the end of all the science trees. Then there's the economy victory, which means you need to gather a lot of dust, and once you have done that, then you win. And then there's the wonder victory, which requires you to build a certain amount of wonders. So let's dig deeper into each of those. So let's start with the one that I know least about, which is the score victory. So the score victory is really a combination of everything, and the score is determined at the end of the game. Now, in the XML files, I have found basically that there is a property called last turn, and its base value is 300. So if you play a normal game, the last turn should be at turn 300. But this is modified by the game speed. For example, it says that for victory, modifier game speed fast. So when you play a fast game, the last turn is modified by 0.5. So basically that means that instead of 300, the last turn should be 150. If you have slow, then it's 1.5. So that should be 450. And then there's speed endless, so that's 2, so then it's 2 times 300 is 600 will be your end turn. After that it will calculate your score, and your score is based on many things. I did find a reference to a thing called summed major empire score, which is referenced everywhere. So that's basically should be the formula that sums all your score together. However, I haven't been able to find the definition of this formula, like what actually makes this summed major empire score. But it doesn't really matter. As you can see here, it says increase your score by gaining population, colonizing and upgrading star systems, researching technologies, improving your trade network and your heroes, winning battle and completing quests. So basically everything you do in the game will give you score. So here there are also some major players of these victory things, and that also includes these curiosities discovered by your empire since the beginning of the game. So that apparently also adds to your score. Here's the amount of heroes that you command, and here's the number of population that you have. So basically everything you do, including searching for curiosities apparently, will increase your score, and then at the end of the game, which is determined by your game speed, the score will be summed up, and if you are the one with the highest score, you win the game. I'm not 100% sure about whether curiosities give you score though, because actually when you do find a curiosity and you look here at end turn, you hover over it, you can see your score of your empire. So as you can see, I have 84. So at the moment I am second, which is also corroborated by this victory screen here. As you can see, I am second. If I search for a curiosity, this number doesn't increase, at least not on the same turn. Maybe it increases on the next turn, but then again other factors will also increase it, so that's hard to disentangle. Then let's have a look at supremacy. Supremacy says bring all the major factions' home systems under your control. Home systems you can recognize on the map. As you can see here, this is mine, and this crown here means that it's my home system. So that's a system that you start off with. If you want to know what's the other people's home system, you can zoom out a bit and you can see the empires that you met these are the home systems. So you can see their icon, and if you click on that, you will go to the diplomacy screen, and you can only do that on their home system. Also, if you zoom in, you can also see that this is their home system by the crown symbol. So if you take over these systems of your enemies, only these, I don't need any of these, I just need their home system, then I win the game. As far as I understand with alliances, basically that still means you need to own all the home systems, but if your ally also has some of these home systems, then that's just counted together. So let's say you have 4 out of 5 home systems and then I ally, well, then my ally will have their own home system, so then I should actually win. This is, however, something that I'm just theorizing. I haven't done an allied supremacy victory yet, so I'm not entirely sure about this, but that's at least how I interpret it. So let's have a look at Conquest. Conquest means that you have to bring a certain percentage of star systems under your control. That means you really have to own them. As you can see here, I own 8 out of the 38 required star systems in the galaxy. If I look at my systems, I indeed have 8. However, think carefully before you want to pursue this victory condition, because I need to own 38 systems, but I can only have 8 at the moment without incurring a happiness penalty. So 38 systems would give me a huge happiness penalty, so think well before you do this. For example, you could play Vodjani or become religious or whatever, because then you can kind of set your amount of happiness to either content or happy if you're in a republic. So yeah, that's one way of doing it. Of course, also the United Empire can have many more systems than I can have at the moment. But if you don't have any of these adaptations, then you will incur a lot of happiness penalty, and it of course depends on you whether you want to take that or not. But as you can see here now, I own 8 out of the 38 required star systems in the galaxy, but I am currently allied with the Lumeris. However, I don't see the amount of systems that they have. It really says 8 out of 38 is the amount that I have, but the Lumeris systems are counted with that. So the Lumeris have a couple of them, and that's added towards it. But it also increases the amount of systems that we need to own together. So as you can see, now we need 38. If I then make the Lumeris sad and say cancel or leave alliance, then they're going to be all sad. And then, as you can see here in Conquest, I need to own 8 out of 36 required star systems. That's not such a big decrease, so being in an alliance is generally quite good for the Conquest victory condition. Let's then have a look at the science victory condition. It says research all 4 victory technologies to win. Progress, you have researched 0 out of the 4 required technologies of the Endless. For this we have to go to the research screen, and if we type of the Endless we will immediately find them. So as you can see here, there's 4. So this one here is the power of the Endless, then we go to the genius of the Endless, then the wealth of the Endless, and then the might of the Endless. Here we go. And you can find these as well by looking for this symbol here, the white kind of victory screen symbol. And these are the 4 technologies that you need to research, and they also give you something very nice when you research them. For example, Power of the Endless gives you more happiness and also increased production. And here, for example, Genius of the Endless gives you more science on your systems, and technology costs less. So if you go for this, then this would probably be the best one to research first, because then the other ones will all be 20% cheaper. However, this is quite hard, because these technologies become more and more expensive the more you research, because Endless Space has this incremental research cost. So the more stuff you research, the more expensive all the things you haven't researched yet become. So if you don't really beeline to it, then the technologies become more and more expensive, and it will be harder to actually research them. But now I need 4 out of 4 of these. However, if I actually ally again, so let's see if they still want to ally with me now that I just made them sad. There we go. Now they're happy with us again. So now we have an alliance again with the Lumeris. So now you can see that our science now needs 6 of the required technologies. Of course, we cannot research 6 technologies because we only have 4 in the research tree. But that means that together we need to research 6. So if I research 3 and the other one research 3, that's fine. If I research 2 and the other one 4, that's also fine, or the other way around. So that's how you win the science victory. This 6 also makes sense because in the XML file it says victory science number of technologies, base value is 4, as you saw it was 4, and then victory science alliance multiplier, base value is 0.5, so 0.5 is 4 is 2, so 4 plus 2 is 6, so that makes sense. And then let's have a look at the economy one. Economy basically means you need to generate a total amount of dust over the course of the game to win. However, this is only the stuff you actually earn. If you sell stuff through the marketplace, like here I could sell 151 Hyperion for 2.7k, that actually doesn't count to the amount of money that I get. So be aware of that. But as you can see here, I now need 675k of money. That's actually the value because I am in an alliance. So if I actually go out of the alliance... Sorry, Lumeris. I'll have to go out of this.
I bet you dumped.
I'm sorry. Then you can see that I need 450k. This is also in the XML files. It says victory economy dust threshold, base value is 450k. But then it says victory economy alliance multiplier 0.8. However, 450,000 times 1.8 is not 675k. So I'm not entirely sure. There might be some other modifier that I can't find in the XML files. But at least if you are in an alliance, you need to get quite a lot more dust than you do on your own. But of course, if you're both very good at gathering dust, then it might be worth it. For the dust victory, it's actually good to know that both game speed as well as galaxy size will change this amount that you need. For example, if you have slow speed, then you need 1.5 times as much. If you have endless speed, then you need 2 times as much. If you are on a gigantic sized galaxy, you actually need, let me just check, you need 2.5 times as much. So there is this base value of 450,000, and that's modified by your game speed, your alliances, and by the galaxy size. So then let's have a look at the wonder condition. So wonder means that we have to build the victory wonder a certain amount of times to win. You have built 0 out of 3 required obelisks of all space-time. This obelisk we can find in the research tree. If we unlock the 5th ring of the research tree on the left here on this side, then we will unlock this obelisk of all space-time. And as you can see, it's hugely expensive. It cost us 20,000 production, which is already a lot because these high-tiered buildings here cost 4,400. So this one costs basically 4 times as much as any of these high buildings. But also here my very good production system has 1.7k production, but my second system has, let's see, they have 600 only. So with the 1.7k it would be like, I don't know, like 15 turns or something like that. But with this one here it would be much more. So actually building these wonders will take a lot of time, but also they require a lot of resources. So they have all the tactical or strategic resources that you can get in the game, and it's not always easy to get these because sometimes you do not find the systems that have them, and then you also cannot find them on the economy screen. So then you have to kind of start a war to take over systems in order to actually get these resources. Not sure how the current marketplace is. But as you can see, there's only 2 Oracle kicks here on the marketplace, and if I buy this out, there's a big chance that for many turns there won't be any other. So if I don't have my own system producing them, then I have a problem with this victory condition because I actually need 10 of it per obelisk, and I need to build 3 of them. Then looking at the XML file, this is modified by the size of the galaxy. So if you have a gigantic galaxy, you need 5 wonders. If you have colossal and huge, you actually need 4. If you have large, you need 3. If you have normal, you need 3, and so on. However, it also says that there is an alliance modifier of 0.5, so that makes me think that it's 3 plus 0.5 of this is basically plus 1.5, so that I would either need 4 or 5 obelisks of all space-time. However, if I now ally with the Lumeris again, here you can have all my dust. No? Not enough? Okay, you can have everything else. There we go. Yay, now we're in an alliance. And as you can see, my wonder is still not updated. I still need only 3. I'm assuming this is a bug and that it actually doesn't update and I actually need more, but I'm not 100% certain about this. But at least the XML file states that there is a 0.5 modifier to alliances, so being in an alliance should increase the amount that you need. So a lot of the things I just told you I have from the XML file. So if you're interested in this and dig a little bit more around, you have to go to the install folder. So for me, that's in program files, then Steam, Steam apps, common, endless space 2, public, simulation, simulation descriptors, victory.xml. Now there are more XML files that have to do with victory. So basically, if you just go into the root folder of endless space 2 and you search for victory, then you will get a list of all the XML files that contain the word victory in their title, and then you can look through those. Some of them seem to be pretty complicated and I haven't really figured out, for example, how we calculate the score. But if you want, you can have a look at it, and if you happen to find how, for example, score is calculated, then please let me know in the comments. Unfortunately, I cannot annotate the video because YouTube has taken away the ability to annotate videos because, well, apparently they didn't work on mobile phones. But yeah, so I will at least put it in the description then if you happen to find out. But yeah, this was my guide to the victory conditions of Endless Space 2. I hope you found it useful and see you next time.